Waking up on the train thinking we were going to the Philippines was a little strange. We set off as if we were going to another planet. As tempting as it is, it's still scary special, since we're going one way to a place they've never been before. In the last episode, I told you about my husband's life in Russia and the difficulties he encountered in creating the Ataman's Museum. We have long dreamed of living on tropical islands. It's hard to believe that soon it will become a reality. But now the train is taking us in the opposite direction. We have to travel almost 1,500 kilometers north from Krasnodar to Moscow in order to fly back south. We spent a day and another night on the train and made it safely to Moscow. We were already feeling tired, and that's not even halfway through our trip. There's still a long and arduous journey ahead. We got into a cab and drove to the airport through the roads of rainy, gray Moscow. Sheremetyevo airport looked empty. We took PCR tests because it was a requirement for those arriving in the Philippines. Waited for the result, my husband and I weighed our bags and suitcases. They contained photos, construction tools, and books that we decided to take with us. This luggage is all that is left of our former lives. To get through weight control, most of our clothes had to be thrown away at the airport. It's a little sad, but we realize it's necessary. The most precious thing now is our life, our freedom, our peace of mind, and the fact that we are together even if life gets tough. After we got our PCR test result and went through the online One Health Pass registration, we headed to the front desk. Finally, our heavy suitcases would be moved into the care of the airline. Hopefully, we'll see them back in the Philippines.
Мама обвешанная квадрокоптерами, фотоаппаратами.
Красавица.
After several hours of waiting, we finally boarded the plane. We will be flying with Qatar Airways. It was the cheapest option at the time. Many airlines had canceled their flights because of the war, so we didn't have much choice. We hoped the flight would be safe. So the moment came when Boris had to say goodbye to his homeland. To understand the feelings of the people who have to do this is to live it forever. For some more time, he can feel the plane's touch with the homeland. But then, the connection disappears, and the land begins to recede rapidly away, disappearing like a mirage. Who knows if he will ever touch it again? We want to leave all the resentment and griefs behind and take only good memories with us. But who cares now? The die is cast and we begin a new life. Separation was inevitable, and we need to think about the future. The plane flew higher and we breathed a sigh of relief. We have mixed emotions. Happiness is sometimes replaced by anxiety. We don't have much money. We don't have a place to live. But we're glad we left all the chaos going on in Russia. Boris told that he is very grateful to have me and his mom who are supportive, give him strength, and are always there for him and every decision he makes. Some people may think he has lost his mind since he decided to move to the other side of the world with me. We can't believe it's really happening ourselves. The huge gray city disappeared into the fog. All that's left around us is the vast horizon. We fly away from this cold world into the unknown. Maybe there the soul will not be so wounded. The plane made one last turn and headed towards the equator. First, we will be on a 5.5-hour flight to Doha, the capital of Qatar. There we would change planes to the Philippines. All in all, we have more than 10,000 kilometers to cover. We get used to being passengers. Mom and I watch movies to pass the time. My husband is more interested in plane's navigation, which can viewed live on the monitors.
This, when you made like fly, where our airplane?
We tried to sleep but couldn't, probably because of the excitement and adrenaline. After a couple of hours, we were over the edge of that invisible line that separates the airspace of a vast country. For the past few years, my husband felt like he was in prison for life. Had he really become free? There had never been a moment like this in his life. He is happy that one day he took this desperate step. No return to this political system is out of the question. How often in life it is our indecision that destroys our dreams. We are afraid of losing what we have and push away the opportunities that occasionally falls to us. Soon my husband will be in the tropics for the first time, seeing the ocean surf, smelling the scents of the rainforest. The airliner was heading south at full throttle. Soon the flight attendants served food. They had several options for the main course, but knowing the Filipino wife, my choice was obviously rice. My husband and mom had the same thing. We had rice and vegetables, chicken stew, some sort of salad, dessert, and juice. Boria also asked for a glass of white wine. We toasted to our new achievement and wished it a good start for us.
Хорошее вино. Очень приятно. Да, очень хороший самолет, хорошая авиакомпания. Мне очень нравится, как работают катарские авиалинии.
I don't like green peas, so I pick them out of my dish and passes them over to my husband.
Вино было очень вкусное. И десерт вообще такой прекрасный, нежный, вкусный, как мороженое, вот, но не холодный.
And now our plane is coming in for a landing. We are greeted by Doha, the largest city and the capital of the Arab state of Qatar, located on the shores of the Persian Gulf. Unfortunately, we can't see it in its skyscraper now because it is already night. We arrive at Doha International Airport, where we will spend the next 10 hours. I am glad that I am with them, as it is their first long flight. I'm trying to make them feel at ease. I had done long flights before. In addition, I know English pretty well.
Нашли зал, сели здесь. Здесь есть розетки, USB зарядные, то есть все можно зарядить, телефоны. И здесь будем ожидать свой следующий рейс. Правда, очень хочется спать. потому что в поезде не выспались, тут в самолете летели, хоть и комфортно, но все равно время подошло. Ну, подождем, потерпим. На Филиппинах выспимся.
I also figure out how we can use the Wi-Fi at the airport. We are glad because we won't have to get bored waiting for the next flight. I also called my family by video call. My mom and sisters Darilyn and Danica will be waiting for us at the airport in Manila. We have asked them to rent a car so we can get from Manila to our province, Pangasinan, more conveniently. Mom is also on the phone with Boris' sister and after a while fall asleep in an uncomfortable position. The hours of waiting drag on long and agonizingly. Sometimes, it seemed like it would have been easier to continue on the plane than to wait at the airport. It is finally morning, and we would finally make our way to the gate of our new flight. The weather is beautiful and the mood is improving. Many Filipinos gathered around us who would be on the same flight to our home country.
Я заметил такую особенность, что здесь очень много людей сейчас находится, и в помещении тихо. Вообще так вот непривычно для такого количества людей такая тишина. Вот, то есть насколько спокойные филиппинцы, какая вот культура, видимо, как-то отличается. Люди не хотят, наверное, друг другу мешать и ведут очень себя спокойно, потому что мы сидели, когда ночь проводили, отходили другие национальности. Но я не знаю, кто это были, или арабы, или там у них другой менталитет, видимо, другой характер, другая культура. То есть там 3 человека собралось, и там уже было шумно. А здесь, я не знаю, тут пару сотен точно человек и вообще тишина.
At this point, we felt very nice and comfortable to be among Filipinos, and Boria continued to observe the peculiarities of our culture. When we first arrived, there were a lot of empty seats, and some people put their bags and backpacks next to each other on the adjacent seat. Gradually, there were no empty seats left, but those who came later didn't make a fuss and just sat on the floor. The Filipinos are tolerant of each other and don't want to cause problems where they can be avoided. We didn't get much sleep last night, but we're still very happy and excited. We will be in the Philippines for 9 more hours of flight time.
Are you excited? That's not English. That is not English. I'm so sleepy. How do you feel?
Me too.
When the plane took off, we had a beautiful view of the city and the Persian Gulf. We had planned to sleep the entire flight, but ended up just looking out the windows and anticipating our arrival in the Philippines. We are now flying over the Arab Emirates, and the artificial islands of Dubai were floating under the wings of the plane. The Palm Jumeirah, the Peace Islands, and the famous Burj Al Arab. The scale of the work done is staggering. I had a stopover in Dubai when I flew to Boria in Armenia and was thrilled to have stepped foot in this amazing city for once in my life. But still, we think that no artificial islands can compare to the thousands of Philippine islands that nature has created over millions of years, because it is not just a piece of land in the middle of the ocean, but a complex ecosystem. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why the construction of new islands was cancelled and the project was a big disappointment for Dubai. For lunch, we have mashed potatoes and meat cooked in sauce, as well as pieces of fruit, bread, dessert, and drinks. We have already flown over several countries and are now flying over India, where about 1.5 billion people live. There will be a few more countries in our way, but if you measure our entire journey, it's a little more than the length of Russia from east to west. What a huge country it is! But for some reason, people don't find a place in it. Borya is not the first, nor will he be the last, to have to flee from it. He's glad that he is flying to his dream and freedom in a comfortable seat at a comfortable plane, and that no one is trying to find him and bring him back. He is reminded of the story of Slava Korilov, an oceanographer and writer who did the nearly impossible to escape the Soviet Union. He jumped into the ocean from the stern of a huge tourist liner. For 3 days, without sleep, without food or water, he sailed alone in the ocean. He swam almost 100 kilometers and made it to the Philippine island of Siargao to start a new life. He wrote an amazing book, Alone in the Ocean, about a giant mass of water and a lone human being who turned his escape into victory. Borya asks sometimes what awaits for him in those unknown islands. Such thunderstorm, such typhoons. He doesn't know what danger might be waiting for us. He thinks that I didn't tell him about them so as not to scare him in advance. He thought the volcanoes, earthquakes, and venomous tropical animals sometimes worried him, but especially his mother. But the Filipinos live there somehow. I hope that he will get used to our way of life too. In the evening, they gave us a snack, chicken fajita sandwich and drinks. After a long flight, we landed in Manila. Welcome to the Philippines.
Welcome to Philippines.
The airport greeted us with a beautiful bright picture on the wall. We made our way to the baggage claim and waited for our suitcases. We started to get a little anxious because the wait took so long. But finally, we got our luggage and breathed a sigh of relief. We went through immigration and went outside to find my family. They were supposed to be waiting at the designated door, but they weren't there.
На улице жарко. Где-то около 30 градусов, несмотря на то, что ночь. Довольно душно ощущается, как в баню зашел. Дышать так сложновато даже с непривычки здесь. Вот это наш весь тут багаж на тачанке.
It turned out that they were sitting at the next door. I introduced Borya and Mom to my mother, my sister, and my nephew, Dion. They were a little shy with my husband and my mother-in-law, but glad we were finally here.
Hello. Mamon. Huh?
Like so.
Ah. Ah. встретились с семьей и сейчас поедем к Дарлин домой, в ее провинцию.
We got into a rented car and set off on our journey from Manila to Pangasinan province. The drive would take about 6 hours, so we decided to stop somewhere and get something to eat. I wanted us to eat at Jollibee. I said that the best way to start our lives in Philippines was to eat at this famous Filipino fast food restaurant. We ordered Filipino-style spaghetti, fried chicken, and Coke. I told Borya that Jollibee is the #1 fast food restaurant chain in the Philippines.
It's like the best fried chicken in the world for me. And this is gravy for chicken. Sweet.
What is it?
It's hot.
Be careful, baby.
Enjoy gravy. Gravy for chicken. Tasty? Mom,
Tasty?
how do you feel? Good? Tasty.
After our first meal in the Philippines, we continued our journey. Life on the Philippine streets doesn't stop, even deep into the night. People kept going somewhere in cars, local shuttles, and motorcycles. Imagine what it would be like during the day. At dawn, we drove up to my village, Barangay Pangasinan. At last, we could admire the surroundings. I explained to my husband some of the interesting places we passed by. We're glad to made it safely. We are excited about the ride through this village and looking forward to what's ahead. In the next episode, we will spend the first unforgettable day in this amazing and mysterious country.
А тут мелькают пальмы кругом. Такая природа, никогда такой не видел.